Down. Set hit.
As football teams across Michigan began practice for the 2014 season, they were participating under new policies designed to make the sport safer by reducing the amount of full-speed contact during practices.
The rules makers have focused on the rules of the game, and they have, to a large degree, taken the head out of the game in terms of the principal point of contact in blocking and tackling. But those rules don't extend to practice, so we saw a need to develop policies for practice that would reduce the amount of head-to-head contact. What we're doing is limiting to one a day the number of collision practices that can occur before the first game, and then after that first game, limiting to 2 a week the number of collision practices that can occur.
The rules were developed by a task force which included school administrators and football coaches, and Robert says for the most part they were already in sync with what many coaches were doing.
We think these new policies with respect to the number of collision practices there can be before the first game and after the first game really are where 85 to 90% of our coaches already were. This new policy sends a signal to that 10 to 15% to get on board with the rest of us to make football just as safe as it can possibly be.
Roberts added that the reduced amount of actual contact in practice won't affect players learning the game.
We know that teaching the technique of blocking and tackling is very important. We know that it can be done at half speed. We know that it can be done against sleds and pads. We know that it does not have to be against another human being day after day, hour after hour. That's what we're addressing. And we think that most coaches are right on board with us.
And to those parents apprehensive about football because of the attention recently given to concussions, Robert says this.
I played high school and college football, and I coached high school football, and I know that the game is much safer today than when I played. In fact, school-based football has never been safer than it is today. And that's obvious. The equipment has never been better than it is today. Coaches have never been better educated than they are today, especially in the areas of health and safety. The rules makers have never been more safety conscious, and the officials have never been given more encouragement and more authority to enforce those safety rules than they are today. It is a good game, a great game, does great things for young people, and it's never been a safer game than it is today.
3, 1, 2, 3. That's good.